Hello everyone, welcome back to Cheat Codes, and today we're going to make enemy AI. We're also going to we're going to get rid of all these enemies and replace them with new ones. I just personally think circles look a bit better than the squares. And yeah, these aren't going to be perfect AI, they're just going to look at the player and move towards him. It's going to be a big bit of code for the enemy's script, and we're going to change one thing in the player controller script. So yeah, these are the only scripts we're going to work on today. And then we're going to rebalance things a little bit. So to start, we're going to make a new enemy, circle enemy, and for now let's just call it enemy. Obviously this is not what it's going to be called permanently, it is just a little indicator of what it is. Yeah, let's give it a little like eyeball of sorts. I thought that would look nice. Let's call it eyeball. Order layer 1, let's make it very small. 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. And let's say on the y-axis it's a little bit down. Oh wait, no, sorry. On the x-axis, a little bit down, 0.3. Okay, and of course let's reset the position. So that is our enemy, how it's going to look for now done. Obviously you can't see it. Let's actually just disable the player for now. Not the camera. Let's not disable the player then, I guess. We could just move the enemy to the side for now. So there is our enemy done. We're going to give it a circle collider 2D. And of course that is its normal size. We're going to give it another one and make this one a bit bigger. So it's about, this is the zone in which it's going to touch the player. So like that's its like hitbox. Let's not be too mean to the player. You know, we could just make it like just bigger than the actual thing. And make that a trigger. So that is 2 components done. Let's give it the rigid body. And that is literally just turning off the gravity. That is that done. And yeah, so now we just need the enemy health script. And then let's make a new script in here, call it enemy controller. Okay. And then let's go back on our enemy and drag it onto him. Okay, and let's make the max health something like 4. Here's our other enemies. Let's just double check that everything is fine. Yep, there was nothing else really. That is all. So let's delete all these enemies. Get rid of them. Enemy spawn, let's clear this back to 0. Okay, and on this enemy, let's make the health 5 actually. So as you can see, the health is going to be a lot less huge. The damage numbers we have right now is way too big. Like the pistol does 5 damage, the shotgun does 2 damage, the Uzi does 3. Actually, I think that'll be fine for this specifically. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, so now we have an enemy health script right here, player controller, and then we'll need our enemy controller script. And let's get into how this will work. So there's going to be a lot in here. I'll explain as well as I can, but yeah, there's going to be a lot. So we're going to actually use the same rotation script the player has. So we're just going to control this and paste it into here. And then in here, we're going to take this and remove it. I'm going to replace that with something else, which will be the player. So we're going to have a public, oh no, sorry, not pun-like, public transform player pos, and it will be player pos dot position. So that is the, well, how the enemy is going to look around already done. We should actually be able to just use this immediately. Let's take this enemy and drag it into the enemy script. Okay, and let's go on to the 3. Let's make that a 0. We're going to turn off this enemy specifically, and then on the enemy spawner, let's drag in this enemy. This will be our enemy, and let's hit play. Oh, sorry. Very enemy controller has not been. Oh, sorry. Of course, we haven't set the Man, we haven't set the player pause. Equals game object dot find object of type player control. And we just say dot transform. There we go. Sorry about that. Very silly little mistake from my part. So now if we hit play, we watch, and it spawns enemies that look at our player. And we can knock them around, and yeah, still kill them. Just one-shot them all with our OP guns. And yeah, so let's get into the rest of this. Firstly, we're going to make a new script. I forgot we'll need another script. Call it game object. No, not game object, game manager. This will be another invisible object. So empty game manager, reset its position, drag it above the player, put the game manager script on there, and on the game manager we will have a public bool player alive. It's false. Well, no, make it true. And that's all the game manager is going to have for now. And let's go on our player controller. And we'll have a public void take damage, int damage amount, and this will be health minus equals damage amount. And if, of course, this is the exact same as last episode, health is smaller than 0, then we're going to do something that we didn't do before, and that'll be transform get component in children camera the transform parent equals null. So this will just make it, but when we kill the player, the camera won't be on him, so it won't destroy the camera. And yeah, there we go, destroy game object. And we're also going to go game object dot find object of type game manager dot player live equals false, because of course the player's dead. Okay, so that is a player script done of taking damage. That is a game manager done. So everything is just the enemy controller. Okay, so sorry, it's had a few things I had to deal with. We will need a private rigid body RV, as always. It's a classic. We'll make sure things stay a little bit more together. Over here we'll need a private bool is attacking. This can also just be a player in range or something. This is just if the player's in that circle area, then attack it. And then a public load enemy damage. Okay, this is damage of the enemy. Enemies will have their own like stat thing in the future, but for now we're just gonna leave that. And yeah, so we'll also need to set the rigid body. So RB equals get component rigid body. And then in the update, we're gonna do a few things here. So if is attacking, exclamation mark, this means false. So if he's not attacking, then rb.velocity equals transform.right times speed. No, we haven't given him an actual movement speed. So in here we'll do public float enemy speed, transform.right equals enemy speed times, nope, no, what, man, times speed. Okay, there we go. So if he's not in range, move towards him. So basically, just move towards him. Obviously, so if he's in range, we want them to stop. You don't have to do that. You can actually just leave it. But yeah, so if is attacking, then a player pause dot get component player controller dot take damage. Oh, sorry, take damage amount. No, enemy damage. Nope. Enemy damage. There we go. What's going on here? Oh, sorry, we accidentally for the player made that a int. It's meant to be a float, sorry. There we go. Float, damage. There we go. So now our enemy will take, well, our player will take damage when he's in range. We're going to have a public void on trigger enter. So this is if the zone touches the player. So if call.gameObject.tryGetComponent player controller out player controller player script then is attacking equals true. Same thing, copy paste it, replace the enter with exit, and replace this with false. So if the zone enters the player, then attacking equals true. If the player leaves the zone, attacking equals false. Very simple. This should be the script's done actually. So now if we go back in, let's double check everything on our enemy. Let's make sure everything's right. So enemy damage, let's make this something like 0.1. So pretty low. Let's make the enemy speed, let's not make it too fast. Let's say like 3. And yeah, let's hit apply, delete it. So now it's on the actual enemy. And let's hit play. I don't know if I'm forgetting something. I might be, but yeah. Oh, so here comes the enemies. Let's see if they get in range. They should. Nope. Oh, there they go. So they're dead. Okay, so all of this is going to be dependent on if game object dot find object of type game manager dot get component game manager dot player is alive. So if the player is alive, do all of this. This same thing applies actually to the player pause. We don't want him to just try grab it when it doesn't exist. So grab that, paste it into there, and there we go. So now they will only do stuff if it is yes. Let's actually get rid of this. Let's just make it so it always moves to the player. We're gonna ignore the whole little like zone thingy. It's not even like a, not like the zone thing, but the enemy stopping. I just realized, no, we shouldn't do that. It's nice that the enemies can push the player around, like if he stands still. And yeah, let's see now. So they move, they damage the player, kill the player, and then they'll keep moving until they eventually stop. Yeah, at least looks kind of funny. So now on the player, we'll obviously need to give him some more health. So right now the player max health stat is 10. So let's actually lower the enemy damage, because if the player's health is that high, then the enemy should not kill him that fast. 0.025. So that's the enemy damage is 0.025. Let's hit play. Let's click on our player. Look at the health right here. So health. As you can see, his health goes down. And yeah, that is our very simple enemy AI. And if the player dies properly. Let's make the enemy's little zone thingy slightly smaller. Not too small, but just a little bit smaller. We don't want him to hit the player and the player feels like the game's cheating. Yeah, that's it done. So now let's rebalance things a little bit. So the enemy's health is 5. So let's go into our pistol. I think it doing 5 damage is fine. The shotgun doing 2 damage, is okay, but the fire rate should be very low since it is a shotgun. The Uzi, I think, can go down a little bit in fire rate, but I think its damage can stay how it is. And yeah, let's test this a little bit. So as you can see, the Uzi shoots a little slower. And yeah, there's the issue of the Uzi actually doing, it seems it does double the damage to the enemies. As you can see, it's one-shotting the enemies, even though it does 3 damage and the enemies have 5 health. So let's see. Uzi damage is 3, enemies have 5 health. Let's double check why this might be happening. We'll just need to go into the bullet. So it hits the enemy, does damage, and it destroys itself. And then, yeah, that is it really. It destroys itself. And the enemy script, the enemy health script. Let's double check this. So it takes the damage. Okay. And the bullet damage. Okay. Let's play a weapon. Nope, that's not it. Sorry. Play a controller. So bullet damage equals. So play stats damage. Okay. So let's double check in here. Player stats. Damage is 0. It's very interesting. So the actual issue here is, from testing, is when the bullet actually hits the enemy, because that little invisible zone is so small, it double hits. So it'll hit the enemy's zone and then hit the enemy directly after, just slightly, because it still triggers with both hits. As you can see, I made the enemy zones a lot bigger, so the bullets die way beforehand, and as you can see, enemies don't die in one hit anymore. So what we're going to do is, to fix that, is we're actually going to make the bullets physical objects, and this might actually be cool for a little physics effect. We're going to go on our enemies, and, well, actually no, that's it. So, and then we're going to go into here, and we're going to make this on collision. No, we're going to make a new one. On collision, enter 2D. And then we're literally just going to take this, copy it, and paste it into there. And get rid of this. And now this should just work. Because I realized before, I only make it a trigger so you don't affect the enemy's physics. But because the enemy's physics is updating every frame, it doesn't really matter. The enemies will still move to the player. It's not like going to knock them away when you shoot them. So yeah, as you can see, now you shoot the enemies and they die to 2 hits. So yeah, that is our enemies done for this episode. I'll full screen this and just talk about the next episode and stuff while we play. Let's actually use the shotgun. You know, we've been using the Uzi every single time. Let's use the shotgun a little bit. Bang! So yeah, shotgun's a lot slower now. So in the next episode, we will... I think the game is... It's not like... Of course, it's not like super balanced, but it is a little bit better now. It's not just player one-shots the enemies. Next episode, we'll do UI, like enemy health. I mean, no, the enemies won't have their health shown, but the player will have a health bar. We'll put score in the game. And yeah, we might add a currency as well, like an XP currency. And there we go, we just died. So next episode comes UI, and then we'll get into the more complicated stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.